The Arctic, a land of endless snow and freezing winds, where survival is a test of will. But amidst this harsh wilderness, an extraordinary story unfolded. A lion, far from his home in the African savanna, would challenge nature's rules and create a bond no one thought possible. Selva was no ordinary lion. Born in the Golden Plains of Africa, he had been captured by poachers and sold to smugglers. Packed onto a ship, his future seemed bleak, but fate had other plans. A storm struck at sea, wrecking the ship near the Arctic's icy shores. Selva, driven by his instincts, swam to safety. When he emerged onto the freezing land, it was as if the icy winds were mocking him. His golden fur, designed for the heat, now faced the bone-chilling cold. Selva was alone, scared, and utterly lost in this strange white world. Days passed as Selva roamed the barren land, hunger gnawing at his stomach. Then, one day, he heard a sound that froze him in his tracks, a desperate, high-pitched cry. It was unlike anything he had ever heard. Curiosity and instinct pulled him toward the sound. When he reached the source, the sight before him was heartbreaking. A tiny polar bear cub, no older than a few months, was stranded on a thin sheet of ice. It drifted dangerously close to the freezing waters below, its tiny claws gripping the slippery surface. On the other side of the cracked ice, the cub's mother lay injured, her leg bleeding heavily. Her roars were weak, her strength fading. She couldn't reach her cub. She couldn't save him. Selva stood there, torn. This wasn't his battle. In the savanna, a lion would never concern himself with another predator's struggle. Yet something about the cub's cries struck a chord deep within him. Selva sprang into action. With a powerful leap, he crossed the icy terrain, his paws digging into the slippery surface. The cub saw the massive lion approaching and whimpered in fear. But Selva wasn't there to harm him. Balancing on the fragile ice, Selva carefully lowered his head and grabbed the cub by the scruff of its neck, just as a lioness carries her own cubs. The ice groaned under their combined weight, threatening to collapse at any moment. With a final mighty leap, Selva landed back on solid ground. He gently placed the cub near its injured mother, who looked at him with a mix of fear and astonishment. Selva could have walked away. He had done his part, but something made him stay. The mother bear was gravely injured and unable to protect her cub. And so, the lion took it upon himself to guard them. Over the next few days, Selva hunted seals, a skill he quickly adapted to out of necessity. He brought food for the mother bear and cub, ensuring they had the strength to recover. At first, the mother watched him warily, growling if he came too close. But as the days passed, her growls turned to silent acceptance. The cub, no longer afraid, began to see Selva as a protector. The little one would play around the lion, tugging at his tail and pawing at his mane. Selva, surprisingly patient, allowed the cub to climb over him, their bond growing stronger with each passing day. One morning, the peaceful scene was interrupted by the distant hum of a helicopter. A wildlife rescue team had been tracking the injured mother bear, hoping to save her and her cub. When they arrived and saw Selva standing protectively beside the bears, they couldn't believe their eyes. A lion in the Arctic? And not just surviving, but protecting a polar bear family? The team worked cautiously. They sedated Selva gently, ensuring he wouldn't feel threatened. They treated the mother's wounds and checked the cub's health. As they loaded Selva onto the helicopter, the cub let out a small whimper, as if saying goodbye to his unlikely guardian. The rescue team released the mother and cub onto a safer part of the Arctic, where they could thrive without danger. Meanwhile, Selva was flown back to a sanctuary in Africa. As he stepped onto the warm soil of his homeland, he seemed to pause, as if remembering the icy wilderness he had left behind. Though separated by continents, the bond between polar bears remained unbroken, a story of survival, courage, and an unlikely friendship that defied all odds. This incredible tale of a lion saving a polar bear cub became a legend, shared across the world. It was proof that even in the harshest of conditions, compassion and courage can triumph. In the frozen wilderness of the Arctic, where survival is a game of the fittest, a lion showed the world that true strength lies in kindness. This is the story of Selva, a lion who dared to challenge nature's rules and, in doing so, became a hero unlike any other.